Are you wondering what are the steps to buying a home in the Bay Area? What process do you go through? Step-by-step guide, maybe, a dummy's guide to the home buying process. Well, stay tuned because I'm going to record an entire series of step-by-step to guide you through. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com, your local San Jose, California realtor. And today I'm going to be guiding you through an entire process of researching the home buying process and understanding if you're prepared. Now, this is a several-part series that I'm putting together on the home buying process in the Bay Area. So please do be sure to check out this entire playlist. So let's go ahead and get started on step 0, the research phase. I have this home buyer guide here that is really important and you can download that will have some of these tips. But I want to first take you to my blog at homeownerexperience.com because there is a section on, or a blog post on, are you ready to buy? So I really want to point out the key points here for you because it's very important as part of your research to understand if you're financially and mentally ready to buy a property. So the first thing to ask yourself, is the timing right? Right? It's not about age or anything specific like that it's a straight, answer. It's more of a gray zone. Are you financially stable? Are you mentally ready to settle down? Are you ready to stay in one place for 7 to 10 years? So here are some questions that people think through, and this blog post will really guide you through, but I think it's really important for you to answer those questions for yourself first as the very initial step in research. Also important to understand is your debt under control? Do you have good credit? How much down payment do you have? And like I said, are you ready to settle in one spot for 7 to 10 years? Because if you're going to buy a home, it really makes sense to plan to stay at least that long. So the first step after you've decided all those answers and are still ready to move forward is to avoid these first-time homebuyer mistakes. Again, I have a blog post about this, but what I really want to point out here is if you follow this step-by-step process, I'm going to help you avoid these common mistakes. If you'd like to read what most of those common mistakes are, feel free to go to this blog post on my website, First Time Homebuyer Mistakes. But definitely the biggest thing is they don't research areas and drive around neighborhoods. So we're going to talk about that next. So to start understanding where to research and what you can afford, I did some basic research on Indeed.com and Salary.com to understand what a typical engineer in San Jose, California makes. So the average according to Indeed.com is $123,000. If we go to Salary.com and figure out the engineering salary there, I believe it was $139,000. So I am going to, obviously that's not pulling up right now here for me. So anyway, we're going to start off to know how much you can afford by going to Realtor.com. Under mortgage, there is an affordability calculator. So in that affordability calculator, I'm going to put in $120,000 income, assuming a single engineer, and I'm going to assume that you have a $300 a month debt. So that's, I'm going to say, a car payment. Now you live in San Jose, California, or you're looking to buy in San Jose, California, and we're going to say you've saved up $100,000 for your down payment. Maybe that is RSUs or bonuses from your company, or maybe you've been diligent and you've been able to save. So with those factors, let's estimate the home price range. So this is saying that you could afford about a $590,000 property. Not bad. You definitely, if you're a single person, can get a condo for that price range in a good neighborhood in San Jose or somewhere nearby. So another scenario would be if you have dual incomes, potentially you have a $200,000. So maybe there is somebody else who's not an engineer plus an engineer in the household. We'll assume the same $300. Well, let's take away the debt just to see. And let's assume you've been saving longer or you work for one of the larger companies that, yes, does have some RSUs. So you have a pretty nice down payment of $250,000. Now, what kind of price range would that give you? Wow, that's almost double. So they're saying $1.17 million you could afford for that kind of income. So the next step is to go through and talk about a mortgage calculator and understand what those expenses might look like and understand if that's realistic for you. So most mortgage calculators are using an assumption of 28% of your income to your housing expenses. And if you have additional debt like car payments or student loans, that could be up to 36%. And I will tell you that a lot of lenders and a lot of people buying in San Jose area actually are going up to 40% or sometimes a little more, like 42%. So that's where you really got to dig into an actual mortgage lender to understand those numbers. But this is the research phase. Remember, we're on step 0, just researching to get an idea of general numbers to see if you can find something that meets your criteria in a neighborhood that you'd be happy with. So here is if that we assume that 1.17 million, and we're assuming 20% down, which is under that $250,000 down payment in San Jose, California, assuming an interest rate of 3%, which today they're a little bit lower, but we're going to go with 3%. Then what actually works out is your principal and interest payment or your mortgage payment would be $3,900 a month. So depending on where you're living, you might be already paying that. If you're living in an apartment, you're probably not. But this will get you 1.17 will get you a very nice townhome with multiple bedrooms or a small single family, say in Blossom Valley or even maybe Cambridge. So there's some great options in this price point. So your total expenses would be about $54.62. And you know, this property tax is calculated right at about 1.25%. But the home insurance to me is very high. I actually would say you're going to spend about $125 a month on home insurance. So it's actually going to be $52.94, a little bit less money every month, which is good. Okay, so that's the total. But now remember, if you're a first-time home buyer, I want you to watch my video on my YouTube channel about renting versus buying and understand the difference, because there are some tax advantages to making a purchase. So even though that may sound a little bit higher to you, you're going to have more deductions in your taxes and be able to save some money there. So it's not going to be $52.94 money that you spend today. So we definitely need to dig into that and get comfortable as part of your research phase. Okay, so now that we've got kind of this general idea, what I want you to do is go to show listings within my budget here in the bottom. And now you can see properties that are pulling up. And what I really love is this map feature. So if we're able to go take a look at all the areas of San Jose where properties are matching your criteria, now you could say, I need at least a minimum of 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, or I only want a single family home. So if we go and say, let's just get me a single family home. Oh, that's a multifamily. Sorry about that. If we say single family only, do our search from there, we're going to get a little less properties popping up as you see the dots move around. But you can see there are quite a few really nice options. Now, if you zoom into this, you're going to see there's several different neighborhoods. So do you want to be in the East Foothills or in the Evergreen area or more central San Jose? So ask yourself questions. What's important to you? Are schools important to you? Are proximity to your job important to you? Is proximity to maybe stores and shopping important to you? Or maybe it's you like to hike and you spend a lot of time hiking, so you'd like to be closer to the hiking trails. So maybe you want to be in South San Jose where there's a lot of that recreation, or in East San Jose where you can get access to that as well. So there's a lot of different things to consider to help you narrow down the neighborhood. So now that we've researched the available options in our price range, we are filtering that information down. And once you've filtered it down based on things that are important to you, the next step is to drive the neighborhood. I really think that you're going to find San Jose is such a huge city that there are a lot of different types of neighborhoods. And you might find areas that you're comfortable in or areas that you definitely don't want to live in. And the reason I want you to go through and research this step is to understand what area you want to focus on in your home search. Now, remember, this is all the initial research phase, but the whole reason this is very important is because San Jose is such a large city. If you want to work with a buyer's agent who has expertise in the area you're looking, it's important for you to understand what area you want to focus on first, right? So for example, if you're going to say that you're going to focus in these southern areas here so that you can get a single family home in your price range that has 3 or 4 bedrooms, you definitely are going to find that in this area, you're going to get more options. So then what I would recommend is that you go and drive these areas and decide, do you like Santa Teresa? Do you like Blossom Valley? Do you like Cambrian Park area? Or are you happy with Robertsville and some of those features? Then once you've really decided where you want to focus, or maybe you want to focus in Evergreen, you need to find an agent that is going to work for you. So then what I would recommend is that you go to google.com and focus in on a particular area. So here I pulled up the map and I selected the South San Jose areas. So we've got Santa Teresa, Blossom Valley, kind of Cambrian, and I zoomed out a little bit and I searched Realtor. And if we search Realtor, there's quite a few things that are coming up. And now this is one way for you to start on the interviewing process. Next video I want you to watch is how to hire a buyer's agent. And we're going to talk about that as the next phase in this video series. Definitely finding an agent who has expertise in the area that you want to focus is very important. And I guess before you, or as you're starting to interview agents and you're clicking these and figuring out who's the best fit for you, you might want to be going to open houses, or if those aren't available like today in COVID-19, then you would go to some virtual open houses to just double check that those neighborhoods and homes are something that you like, that fit in your budget, so that you have an area of focus when you hire your agent. Again, because agents that work in Blossom Valley and Cambrian are probably not agents who know Evergreen very well, because San Jose is so huge. So definitely you want to find somebody who's going to be the best match for you. So watch that next video on step number 1, hiring your agent. And feel free also to watch other videos I have on the San Jose neighborhoods and different features of each neighborhood that might help you focus your search as well. Thank you.